In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this 3/4 jumpsuit. It has a straight flare attached with extended wings and also an asymmetrical neckline on the bodies. If you're new here, my name is Kemi Omorugbe. Welcome to Kemafric. Here is my chest line, the bust line, and the under bust line. I will eventually draw out the waistline. So from the margin, I measured 3 inches downward, 3.5 inches, sorry, and then 3.5 inches to the side to get my neckline depth and width. And here we have the neckline. Right here is the waistline. On the waistline, I positioned my dart 4 inches from the center front, and I marked 1/2 inch on both sides to get the width of my dart, which I connected to the chest line. That was a mistake though. Please connect your dart to the bust line, not your chest line, okay? Now, before I started drafting this pattern, my center front was on fold because I knew we'll be creating an asymmetrical design for the neckline. So I traced out my pattern so the lines appear on the other side, and now I am using my marker pen to highlight them so that it can be visible to you. This side of our pattern, we are making a regular armhole, so I connected the shoulder to the chest line and marked the center point to create the armhole curve, like so. If you want a full tutorial on how to do this, it will be in the description box. And on the other side, we are creating a kimono sleeve. So on the chest line, I took out my bust circumference divided by 4, and on the waistline, I took out the waist circumference divided by 4 plus my 1 inch for that placement. So we have the same measurement on the other side, so it was easy for me to transfer. Here is my side dart right here. I have seen this same design being created using a dartless bodies, so you can try that out and see how it works, but I just felt like including darts we improve the fit. Next, I went ahead to slash through the waist dart so that I can transfer the side dart to the waist. This will make it easier for me to create the kimono sleeve. I went ahead to close up my side dart, and then on this side of the pattern where we are creating the kimono sleeve, I extended the shoulder line to the length I wanted for my sleeve. Now you can take the measurement from the center of the neckline to where you want your sleeve to get to, and that's the measurement you will mark right now. From the shoulder tip, take out 2 inches away from your sleeve measurement and connect the neckline to that point, like so. This will help the shoulder fall. And at the edge of your sleeve, you are going to mark a line downward that is perpendicular to the shoulder line and mark out the sleeve opening. I used 7 inches for mine. Now from the underbust, I am creating a curve to connect the sleeve to the bodice. Once I was done with all of this, I went ahead to cut out my pattern. Now we have our pattern, but before I set this aside, we are going to make an adjustment on the neckline. I want the neckline to be a little bit more open, so I took 1 inch away from the right side, and I'll be blending it into the rest of the neckline like so and cutting it out. Now let us work on our back pattern. We have the top margin right there, and here I am marking out the zipper allowance. This is at the folded side of my paper. I took a neckline width of 3.5 inches and a neckline depth of 1 inch, and right now I am marking 1 inch from the margin in order to slant my shoulder after taking out my shoulder width divided by 2. So right there we have, I am marking the position of my chest line and also the back half length, or the back length if you want, and I'll be taking this at another point so that I can draw out horizontal lines to represent these two: the back length, that's the waistline for the back, and also the chest line. At the center back, we have the zipper allowance, right? We are going to be slanting the zipper allowance by 0.75 inches to help it sit properly into the back. So our zipper allowance still remain, it is just slanted. Here is my chest line. I drew it initially with a pencil, but now you can see it clearly, right? Now on the waistline, I am taking the measurement from the slanted edge of my zipper allowance, adding the 1-inch dart allowance to it. Just like I did for the front, I traced out my pattern on the other side of the paper so that we can have a full bodice for the back. Okay, having done that, I went ahead to pin down my zipper allowance. Okay, that's this inner zipper line. That's what I'm pinning down right now, so that by the time I slit open the zipper allowance, I can still have 1-inch on both sides. So I'll be opening up my 1-inch like this, and we are going ahead to do other modification. Now I went ahead to place my front pattern on the back, and of course I needed to extend this side of the back pattern so that we can create the kimono sleeve on that side, on that end, right? So having positioned my front pattern properly, I could trace out the side like this. This is very important so that the front and the back will align properly when you are sewing. Okay, so having done that, I used the front pattern to now trace and cut out the neckline, the armhole, and the other side, because there is a dart difference, right? So I just push the dart inward to enable me to do this. Now we are moving on to create the trouser pattern. I have lots of trouser pattern tutorials on this channel, but we are starting with a margin at the top of the paper. I did like a 4 inches wide margin at the top and a 3 inches wide margin at the side. Next, at the top of my pattern, I took the hip circumference divided by 4 because I just want to create a box. So hip circumference divided by 4 here. Then I took the waist to hip measurement, which was 10 inches right here, and drew out the hip line. And I also took the waist to crouch measurement, which was 13 inches, and that is the second line right down. So having done this, I went ahead to take that hip circumference divided by 4 on the hip line and on the crouch line. Remember, I already took it on the waistline already, right? So this is my waistline, this is the hip line. Okay, I will correct that, and this is the crouch line right here. So I drew a straight line, which was my hip circumference divided by 4, remember? Okay, so right now I'm taking the length of my trouser. This is going to be a 3/4-ish trouser. It was 30 inches long, and you can make it a short trouser, a short knicker, or a long trouser, but it is going to be a straight one. Now here I am measuring out the waist circumference divided by 4 and connecting it to the hip line. To get your crouch extension, take the hip circumference and divide it by 20. So mine was about 2.4-ish here. So I'm extending the crouch line by 2.4 inches. On the hip line, I took 0.25 inches outward so that I can use it to blend my crouch curve like so. Next, because this is a free trouser, I am giving it some ease. I think I took 0.75. You can make use of 1/2 inch or 1 inch in order to make it a free one. Okay, so I'm connecting my new measurement to the waistline, and from the waistline down to the hem of the 3/4 trouser. I already mentioned that this is going to be straight, so the same measurement I have right there, that's the hip circumference plus the crouch extension, I am marking the same measurement on the hem line and connecting the crouch line to the hem like so. Now on the waistline, I came downward by 1/2 inch at the center front and went upward by 1/2 inch to make the waistline curvy like so. So I blended that right in. Now I'm going to use another pen to start drafting the back on this front. We are trying to make this line slanted, so I took 1 inch inward on the crotch line and 2 inches inward on the waistline, and we are going to create a slant like so. Now we are drafting the back, like I said, and the back should be higher than the front, so I'm going to extend the line, the slanted line I just drew, by about 2 to 3 inches. Okay, now Remember, we took crouch extension for the front. Whatever value you use for the crouch extension for the front, you're going to multiply that value by 2 and mark it for the back right there. This is our crouch extension for the back. Next, we are going to create the crouch curve. Remember, I came outward by 0.25 inches on the hip line in order to create the curve for the front. I'm doing the same thing for this back. Anywhere you see a red pen, just know it's for the back. Okay, so here I'm recreating the crouch curve for the back and connecting it into the rests of our slanted line like so. Now, from our slanted line, I will take the hip circumference divided by 4 and mark it out on the hip line. And that's what I'm marking here. Next, I will add the half an inch ease that I added for the front. I will add the same thing for the back right here. Did I say half an inch? Yes, I actually use half an inch, not 0.75 for the front. Sorry about that. Now we have to modify the waistline for the back. So from the measurement we have for the front here, I am extending the back by the crouch extension I used for the front, okay, which was 2 point something right there. And from there we are going to slant our waist circumference. First, I measure the waist circumference for the front again, and I'm going to be marking it for the back in a slanted way like this. That's because the side of the back has to align with the side of the front, even though the center back will be raised. Okay, so we have a slanted line as the waistline for the back right there. Now I'll go ahead to connect the waistline for the back to the hip line for the back like so, and we are going to extend that measurement all the way down. So I'm just marking that extra 1 inch difference right there so that we can have a straight side seam for the back as well. Also, I will measure the distance between the crouch for the back and the front, and mine was 1.5 inch. I'll take that measurement all the way down, then we'll have a straight line for the inseam of our 3/4 trouser right there. At this point, I decided to extend the length of my own trouser by 2 inches. That means I'm making use of 32 inches long for this. Be sure to make use of your own body measurement. Next, I'll go ahead to trace out the front pattern. Remember, the front is the one with the black pen, right? I'll trace it onto another paper. When doing this, I like to place a fabric underneath my paper. It just helps in making the lines more visible. I was done tracing here. I took a measurement of 1 inch inward on the waistline and then took a depth of 6 inches downward so as to mark out our pocket pattern. Now, depending on what you want, you can go ahead to measure the width of the pocket. I made use of about 5 or 6 inches. I can't remember honestly. And for the depth of the pocket, I just marked out somewhere in between the hip line and the crouch line down. After drawing the pocket pattern, I placed a piece of paper on fold and placed it underneath my front pattern so that I could trace out the pocket pattern on the two papers, because I need one of the papers as pattern for the pocket and one as the facing of the pocket. Now I have my two papers here. I'll pick up one of it and cut open the pocket for one, while the one that is the facing will not be cut open because it's just going to be underneath this first pattern. Okay, by the time we transfer it to fabric and we are sewing, you're going to understand all of this. Okay, now let's set this aside. I'll be cutting out my patterns. Now that our patterns are ready, we are going to be transferring this pattern to fabric and sewing this outfit completely in the next video. Be sure not to miss that video because it has so many sewing tips that you will love. Here is the final look of the dress. I bet you don't want to miss this sewing tutorial. So see you in the next video. Be sure to like this video, comment and share. Thank you very much. My name is Kemi Omorogbe and this is Kema Freak.